The Amish Way. Preserving food without electricity. The Amish community in the United States is known for its simple, self-sufficient way of life. Living without modern conveniences like electricity, they have mastered the art of food preservation using traditional techniques that have been passed down through generations. But how exactly do they keep their food fresh without refrigeration? Let's take a closer look at the fascinating methods the Amish use to ensure they have food available year-round. 1. Canning, the art of sealing. Freshness. Canning is one of the most common ways the Amish preserve their food. They use large pressure canners to seal vegetables, fruits, meats, and soups in glass jars. The process involves heating the food to kill bacteria and then sealing it in airtight jars, which can last for years if stored properly. Water bath canning is used for high-acid foods like tomatoes and pickles, while pressure canning is necessary for meats and low-acid vegetables. Canning meat is one of the most reliable and time-tested ways the Amish preserve food without refrigeration. This traditional method allows them to store meat safely for months, or even years. Here's how it's done. Start with fresh meat. The Amish typically use pork, beef, or chicken that is freshly butchered, often the same day, to ensure quality and safety. Prepare the jars. Glass mason jars are cleaned thoroughly and sterilized by boiling. The lids and bands are also sterilized and kept warm until use. Cut and season the meat. The meat is cut into small cubes or thick slices. Some families season it lightly with salt, pepper, or onion, but many prefer to keep it simple and natural, using only salt to preserve the flavor and purity of the meat. Pack the jars. Raw meat is packed tightly into the jars without adding water. The meat will release its own juices during the canning process. It's important to leave about 1 inch, 2.5 centimeters, of headspace at the top of each jar. Pressure canning. The filled jars are placed inside a pressure canner, which is heated using propane gas, wood, or coal. The jars are processed at 10 to 15 pounds per square inch for 75 to 90 minutes, depending on the type and size of the jars. This step is critical to kill harmful bacteria like Clostridium botulinum. Cool and store. After processing, jars are allowed to cool naturally. The lids should seal with a distinct pop sound, indicating a proper vacuum seal. Once sealed, the jars are stored in a cool, dark, and dry place, such as a root cellar or pantry. Properly canned meat can last 1 to 2 years or even longer. 2. Root cellars, nature's refrigerator. Instead of using electric refrigeration, the Amish rely on root cellars, underground storage areas that maintain a cool, stable temperature year-round. These cellars are perfect for storing potatoes, carrots, onions, apples, and even cabbages. The damp and cool environment slows down spoilage and helps food stay fresh for months. 3. Fermentation, harnessing good bacteria. Fermentation is another time-tested method the Amish use to preserve food. They make sauerkraut, pickles, and other fermented goods by allowing beneficial bacteria to break down sugars in the food, producing natural preservatives like lactic acid. This process not only extends the shelf life of food, but also enhances its nutritional value and flavor. 4. Smoking and drying meats, a time-tested method. One of the most fascinating ways the Amish preserve food is by smoking and drying meats. Since they do not rely on electric refrigeration, they use these ancient techniques to keep their food safe and flavorful for long periods. Let's break it down. Smoking meat. The Amish often use traditional smokehouses, small wooden or brick structures designed to smoke large quantities of meat. The process begins by curing the meat with salt, sugar, or a combination of both, which helps draw out moisture and prevent bacterial growth. Once cured, the meat is hung in the smokehouse, where hardwood like hickory, applewood, or oak is burned slowly to produce smoke. The slow smoking process infuses the meat with deep, rich flavors, while also acting as a natural preservative. Common smoked meats include ham, bacon, sausages, and beef jerky. Drying meat. Drying is another way the Amish preserve their meat, often used for making jerky. Strips of meat are cut thin and evenly before being salted and sometimes marinated with spices. The meat is then hung in well-ventilated barns or placed on drying racks, where air circulation helps remove moisture. Sometimes the Amish use low-temperature ovens or even sun-drying techniques to assist in the drying process. The result is lightweight, protein-packed dried meat that can last for months without refrigeration. Both smoking and drying meats are effective natural ways to ensure food security throughout the year. These methods not only keep the meat edible for long periods, but also enhance its flavor, making it a staple in Amish households. 5. Lard and fat preservation. In addition to smoking and drying, the Amish also use lard to preserve cooked meats. They store cooked pork or beef submerged in lard inside crocks. The fat acts as an airtight seal, preventing spoilage and keeping the meat tender and flavorful for months. 6. Ice houses, the traditional freezer. While most people today rely on electric freezers, the Amish use ice houses to keep food cold. They harvest large blocks of ice from frozen ponds in winter and store them in insulated ice houses, often using sawdust or straw for extra insulation. These ice blocks can last well into summer, allowing the Amish to keep dairy products, meats, and other perishable items cold without electricity. 7. Dehydration, the power of sun and air. The Amish also use dehydration to preserve fruits, vegetables, and herbs. They sun-dry apples, peaches, and tomatoes, or use air-drying racks in well-ventilated barns. Dehydrated food is lightweight, takes up little space, and can be easily rehydrated for cooking. Conclusion: a testament to self-sufficiency. The Amish way of preserving food is not just a survival skill, but a testament to their deep connection with nature and self-sufficiency. These methods, perfected over generations, allow them to store food safely and sustainably without relying on modern technology. In a world where electricity and refrigeration are taken for granted, their techniques serve as a valuable reminder that traditional food preservation is both practical and effective.